and we went into the landing craft. I would say it was around 6:30 in the morning of June the 6th. As the landing craft took off and we got close to the beach, uh, the first and second waves that went in, when the gangplanks were lowered, about 80% of the infantry and engineers that were in the first and second waves, 80% of them were immediately killed. So it didn't leave too many on that beach, you know. And remember, the 29th was going in, the 1st was going in, and all and up and down the beaches, Utah was being invaded. The English were going in their locations and so forth. So without a doubt, it was a busy day. And we were told not to go out the front of the ship, but to go over the side of the ship. So naturally, I had 60 pounds of equipment on my back. Soldiers had their stuff, and over the side we went. I can't swim. And not only I couldn't swim, there was a few others on that landing craft that couldn't swim neither. And when we went over, the water was over our head. And with 60 pounds, naturally, it took us down. And my first thought was to get back up. I wasn't worried about getting shot. I was worried about not drowning. And so were the other guys. When we got up, came back up, we held on to the side of the landing craft, and then we start to help each other to get into the beach. When we finally got to the beach, there was no craters for us to hide in. And naturally, the machine guns up there were firing without a doubt. And that day, for me, was considered my longest day of my life. And Omaha got the name of Bloody Omaha because the only thing you could see were soldiers lying on a beach that were dead, blood all around you, soldiers that were wounded, and it was just a mess on that beach. That's when we realized how lucky we were that the Panzer divisions were up in Calais. Because if the Panzer divisions would have been down at Normandy, without a doubt, we would have been driven back into the ocean.
Are you literally having to push bodies in the water out the way?
The answer is yes. You're pushing bodies because if they were dead, naturally they're floating in the water. And the water leading up to the beach was loaded with red blood. It was bloody. That's what it was called, Bloody Omaha. And it was just a matter, and not only that, some of the units that were landing on the beach were not landing where they were supposed to land. It was such disaster that was going on. It was confusion all over that beach.
What were you thinking at that point as you wade through the bodies floating in the water, trying to get onto the beach? What on earth is a soldier thinking at that point?
Well, basically, I believe each one was trying to say, where can I go to be saved? Where can I hide? Where can I be so I won't get hit? You know, machine gun bullets are coming at you pretty fast, and there's no place to hide. Now, naturally, when you came ashore, there were all these obstacles, these iron metal things that they had put in the water also to keep the ships from getting into the beach. So you try to hide behind those. Any place that you could find, a place to dig in, somewheres in the dirt and hide, that's what you were doing. Your main objective was not communications. Your main objective was to find a place where you feel you could be safe for at least 10 or 15 minutes.
Your main objective was to stay alive.
Stay alive. And I would assume that each soldier had the same thought. I could be wrong, but that was my thoughts. What can I do to stay alive so that I could be able to perform my duty that I was sent to do? When the troops started to move and I was able to get out of what I had crawled into, I was walking around when I bumped into the sergeant of that landing craft. And you know, I asked him how he was doing. He said, fine. He says, I just wanted to notify you. He says, you and I are the only two who survived from that landing craft. And I said to him, you mean to say you lost your whole squad? And he said, yes, I lost my whole squad.
So within 12 hours of the 36 of you who got off that landing craft, there were only two of you
Two
left.
of us who survived that landing craft.
Presumably
So,
this is the first time you'd seen people killed in action as well.
it's the first time I ever saw anybody killed.
What was
You
that
know?
like?
Well, again, to see dead bodies, and some of them were not, their faces could have been destroyed, their arms cut off, legs lost. It was just one horrible mess.
Is it more difficult for you every anniversary?
I find that every year it becomes harder for me to talk about this. And again, it comes back. But I feel that it's very important that I talk in schools and to people so that everybody will realize that freedom was not free. A lot of people gave their lives so this generation, the next generation, and many people who are living in our country today realize they're free. What would have happened if that would have not been a successful war? But the most important thing that I look at is when we were sending messages and how lucky we were that Hitler decided to move those panzer divisions up to Calais, because if not, who knows if I'd be here sitting talking right now at all.